We've got a new feature available for premium subscribers that I think you're going to like. I'm pretty excited about it. Ever since, I would say, I don't know, week 3 of our existence, people have asked for a way to incorporate tax data into the budgeting, cash flow type planning they're doing for clients, particularly for their accumulator clients. And it makes a ton of sense that they would ask for that because, I mean, let's face it, taxes for many of us is one of or is the biggest expense every year. So it's useful to incorporate that into cash flow planning. Also, on the flip side, I know in my experience, when clients were not sure what their total spending was, it was a great hack was to say, okay, give me your total income. They usually knew that. What was your tax bill? They usually knew that or could find that. And then what are the portfolio inflows and outflows on the year? And usually we, the advisor, knew that. Whatever's left is their spending. And so a lot of times a client, that was the first time they ever got to an annual spending number. So again, taxes are a big part of that cash flow equation. So without further ado, how do we go about this? Well, Sankey diagrams have been having a bit of a moment over the past couple years, I would say. If you use the Reddit website, there's a subreddit called Data is Beautiful. It's all about data visualizations. And I would say maybe every third entry on that site is a Sankey diagram of some sort. If you do a Google image search of Sankey diagram, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, you'll see, you're probably familiar, you've maybe seen these in the press or something like that. Commonly used for outside of finance, a lot of times you'll see it for energy. Actually, that's the first entry here, for energy. Like what are all the sources of electricity generation in the country, like oil and coal and natural gas and wind. And then where is it going? Industrial usage, lost in transmission, and then home use. If you Google image search Sankey diagram budget, you'll see a lot of stuff that's relevant to what we're talking about here. Sankey diagrams are great for taking, totaling up some kind of inflow amount, be it energy or income in our case, and then showing where it goes, branching out into, in our case, what are the expenses that come out of this income. Let's get straight into it though. So we'll get to this. Again, this is premium subscribers. You'll see this right away in the household screen. Here I am for this particular household. I'll scroll down and you'll see cash flows right here. Property casualty insurance reviews. What's that about? Anyway, all right, so we click on, let's create one. I'm gonna create a cash flow diagram. All right, I'm gonna click that, and this is for our April meeting, and I'll put today's date on it. And let's just start from scratch with a blank one. And so I'm given this blank canvas, and I have the ability on the left-hand side to add income sources and on the right-hand side to add expenses. Let's go through it here. So Bob's salary, I don't know, $50,000. Not that amount, 50,000. And red, let's do that. There we go, there's Bob. Sally, 50,000. This is income, these are our sources of income. We'll make hers blue. How about that? Blue, nice. Boom, okay, so that totals 100,000, but we haven't allocated any of that income to expenses. So we're talking about taxes here. Let's do taxes. So federal tax, and they paid, I don't know, 15,000. And let's give it a color of green. Green doesn't seem appropriate. I'm going to go with green. Federal tax, 15,000. Let's do state tax now. And now if I want to match that color, I want to do one that looks just like that federal tax one, I'm going to right click. I'm going to duplicate that node. And there it is, copy of federal tax. I'm going to click that and I'm going to say state tax. And let's say that one's 5,000. All right. Here we go. So I've got federal tax, I got state tax. I still have unallocated income, 80,000. Let's just knock that out for fun. One day all of our money will go to subscriptions. So I'll put the full 80,000 I'll put under subscriptions. That's my Netflix and my Hulu and all the other subscriptions in my life. Let's do purple. Purple for that. What do you think? That looks okay. All right. So that's a Sankey diagram. And I see now that I have matched everything. If I want to combine federal and state into one branch, like called taxes, I want to kind of combine them, I can do that. Just like on your cell phone, this idea where you can take apps and kind of drag them on top of each other to create like a folder holding them. That's how this works. So I'm taking state tax and I'm dragging it onto federal, and that little plus sign comes up. And now I can create like a parent node for those. And I'll just call that all taxes. And I'll do some other shade of green. There we go. And now all taxes there. I kind of want subscriptions to be down below. So I clicked manage ordering. I'm going to drag subscriptions back down below. Good, I like this. So here I go. So Bob and Sally, they make $100,000, $50,000 each. Their taxes total $20,000, but it's split across federal and state, and then all their other money goes towards all their subscriptions and stuff like that. If I want to just sit with the client, that's probably an iterative process. I'm sitting with the client and we're kind of talking through some of this stuff because I, the advisor, don't know all of this. So, and then maybe when we want to just look at it with all this stuff on the sides, I click presentation mode and boom, there we are. That's the total Sankey diagram. I just made it, all right? And so I can then go back to the household screen, and that is there for me whenever I want to come back to it. Property casualty insurance reviews. What is that doing there? That is really interesting. So, so it's there. So I can come back to it next year and we can say, this is what your cash flow diagram looked like last year. Let's create a new one, and then let's not create it from scratch. I want to have a template to start to give me at least a starting point for all the different categories and stuff. So I'm going to create cash flows, and I'm back for a May meeting, and it's May. I just changed it to May 19th. There we go. And rather than start from scratch, I'm going to say we're going to give you a couple templates. So this is 2 spouses with wages. Great. The other one was one for a retiree where it's not wages, it's more about Social Security and other sources of income like that. But let's do 2 spouses with wages starter. So what I get here is it's still blank in the middle, but you can see on the left and right hand side all the categories and stuff are preloaded, and we just have to fill in the amounts. So if I want to do the same thing as before, I won't put Bob on there. We'll remember he's Bob. I'm just moving fast here. So that's 50,000. She made 50,000. And federal taxes, what was it, 15,000? And we didn't have FICA in that first example. So you don't have to use it if it's on here. I can just right click on that and I can say delete this node if I don't need it. Yep, fine, that's gone. But state tax I do want to keep, so 5,000. And then it was subscriptions was where all the rest of my money went. My $80,000 went to subscriptions. Let's do that, 80,000. And save that. And there we go. Same diagram, right? It was just faster because we pre-filled some of the stuff. But yeah, that's the story. Again, presentation mode to kind of get just a cleaner picture of it without the stuff on the sides. But I think you'll probably be spending time in both with your clients because you'll probably be working through some of these numbers to make sure it makes sense and to make sure you're agreeing on what the plan might be. Let me think here about enhancements that are on our horizon. This is what we're going live with now, but I can already hear you saying, well, wait a minute. I've been doing this for 30 years and I've got my own template, my own way of doing cash flow planning, got these categories. Yes, the ability to create your own templates, that's coming. I think then the next thing, and this is the big thing, is remember the original question was I want to link this to the tax information that HolistaPlan already has. And so the thinking there is the ability to link a diagram to a scenario. So like this federal tax, this state tax item linked to the scenario, the income items linked back to the scenario. I think that it's going to require us to do a little more work on the scenario side before we can have it all flow through to these diagrams. But in the meantime, we know those numbers, I hope, and so we can plug those in manually. So that's the new feature. It's there for premium subscribers right there in the household screen. And I really look forward to hearing what you have to say about it, if it's useful for you or not, what needs to change about it, how it'd be more helpful for you, especially if you're doing a lot of cash flow type planning with your clients. And I just generally look forward to seeing all the colorful diagrams that you get to put together. Thank you.